to the time where my nigga Ben Lope, you know, came from St. Louis to move to Dallas to open up a spot, in Dallas. So there was a lot of excitement in the air around this time, you know what I mean? Cause everybody fuck with Ben, you know what I mean? Like Ben, Ben's a real nigga, you know what I mean? From St. Louis, did a lot of business, with Ben, you know what I mean? Back in the days or whatever. So, niggas was real happy for him that he was coming to Dallas and he was opening up a spot, you know what I mean? He was opening up like this like bowling alley slash club slash pool hall slash drive-in, which I'm gonna explain later, how all that worked like. So Beb's coming to Dallas, he's gonna have this big grand opening, so like I said, excitement was in the air. So I'm on a video call with Lady Wu, Nisa B, Shay, you know what I mean, this little cutie, this little Haitian chick from Florida, named Shay. We all on a video call and shit, so I'm asking, motherfuckers one by one, like, yo, y'all going to Bemp's grand opening, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like a big ass party or whatever, big ass celebration. Nisa B said she was going, you know what I mean? I know Skoka said she was going. I think Skoka was on the video call. Yeah, Skoka was on the video call. She said she was going. Lady Wu said she wasn't gonna go because she couldn't make it. Now, we all on FaceTime at the same time. Shay said that, she not sure if she going, she don't think she gonna make it, but Shay, she's walking down the street talking to me and Wu, because at this point, Nisa got off the video call, Skoka got off the video call, so it's just me, Wu, and Shay on the video call talking. Wu said she can't go to the grand opening. Shay said she don't know, so Shay's walking down the street, and I think it was like a car accident or something that happened, so she's like, yo, or I think they was fighting. So Shay's like, yo, I think they fighting. So when she flipped the cameras to show the fight, she flipped the camera back to herself and was laughing, was like, yeah, they fighting out here. Next thing you know, we hear a girl talking about, yo, you filming me? Then boom, Shay gets into a fight, the phone drops. And me and Wu shot, you can look this up. Wu got the shock face, be like, what the fuck? The video call, ends. So I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So, when it's all said and done, Shay was alright. She just got to a fight live on camera, which was crazy. But, Shay wasn't going to the grand opening. Alright, cool. So like I said, everybody was hyped. Even London was hyped. London was talking about the grand opening. How it's gonna be this big grand opening. Everybody in the city, is gonna be there. Alright, cool. So, my nigga Duke, hollered at me. He's like, yo, Bent want us to come through, and we gonna be able to, to see the place before it opens. This is probably like 2 weeks before they gonna have the grand opening, so Bent and Payday was gonna give us a walkthrough, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Payday, you know what I mean? That's Bemp's own, old lady or whatever, right? His girl, so so I'm like, alright, cool. So, I was gonna drop London off at work for this particular day, so me and London get in the car and we heading over to Bent spot, and we gonna meet up with Duke and Flame. So we pull up, so me and London pull up, and it's this big ass blue building, like this big ass royal blue building. And it's got like, you ever been to like Great Adventures, how you go to the haunted house and it has like the big, like monsters that stick out on top. It was like this big ass creep keeper. You ever seen the creep keepers like Tales from the Crypt? It's like a crypt keeper, big ass skeleton crypt keeper, holding up 2 C's with a royal blue bandana around his head. Big ass, this shit looked ill. And it said Bent Lopes, you know what I mean? But apostrophe S Bent Lopes, you know what I mean? Which was fire. So you got this big ass royal blue building with this big ass skeleton throwing up 2 C's with a royal blue bandana. So me and, London get out. We looking at the bill. We like, damn, shit crazy. So Flame pulls up. Duke's in the back, you know what I mean? Because he don't ride in the front. So Duke get out, Flame get out, We greet each other, pounds, hugs and shit. You know what I mean? Duke says what up, London hug, you know what I mean? You know how Flame is, militant, always on point, you know what I mean? Strapped up, I was strapped up too, but it was, we chillin'. Next thing payday and, Bent pull up, boom. They get out, greet us, you know what I mean? So we like, yo, man, congratulations, we showing love to Ben. Be like, yeah. So he telling us, that, the grand opening was gonna be on a Saturday, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like, he said the theme for it is gonna be West Coast. He was like, he wanted everybody to dress up like it's West Coast, khaki suits, you know what I mean? Chuck Taylors, you know what I mean? Any color bandana. He said everybody's invited, Bloods, Crips, GDs, BDs, he don't give a fuck what set you claim, what gang you from, what hood you from, what state you from. He said he want everybody to come through, but he said he want everybody to be dressed on some West Coast shit, you know what I mean? So as we walking, he walks us to the draw-through area where he got this big-ass screen outside. It's like this big, tall, movie screen outside. Like, it was like a real draw-through that's on the side right there. So you're like, yeah, this is where we're going to be, showing the movies at the same time. He said people could pull up and they have options either to come in and play pool, and bowl or party, or they could just stay outside and park a lot pimp. At the same time watch a movie. He said the 3 movies they're going to be showing is Boys in the Hood, Minister Society, and Poetic Justice. He said those are the 3 movies that are going to be playing outside. So we like, alright, so now we walk inside. The carpet, what I mean, anywhere where it was carpet was royal blue. The walls are royal blue, with the bandana, with the bandana style, drawings on the wall, all royal blue. He had pictures of Tookie Williams, Raymond Washington, Eazy-E, Nipsey Hussle, paying homage to all the Crips, you know what I mean? I respect. Then he showed us the VIP area, which is called the Blue Room, which had like blue couches, blue velvet ropes, you know what I mean? Blue light, that shines down, you know what I mean? He said, that's the Blue Room, that's the VIP area. Then he showed us the stage. It's a big-ass stage with another big screen, behind, like, where the DJ gonna be set up, because it's like you see the DJ equipment in front of this big-ass movie screen, and it's a big stage right there. He said the dance floor that's right there, underneath the stage, holds about 800, 900 people. Cool. And all around it, like I said, you got pool tables all over the place. You got bowling alleys, all around. This is a big-ass place. I'm like, damn, this nigga, in my head, I'm thinking, damn, this nigga must spent a lot of money. So London's looking around. London's talking to Payday. Me and Duke, we like, alright, we showing love. So he was like, yeah, he said that you're going to have DJ Paul hosting. DJ Paul from 360 Mafia is hosting. Buddy Lee is DJing. He hired Buddy Lee, the DJ. Alright, cool. And he said he got Young Buck that's gonna perform, you know what I mean? So I'm like, alright, cool, cause he said, he got, he booked Young Buck for a good price, you know what I mean? So we just congratulating Ben. We like, yo, man, we happy for you, me and Duke, Duke like, yeah, cuz. He was like, you doing your thing, cuz. He was like, yeah, we definitely gonna come through and show love for West Coast night. So, he was like, yeah, everybody just come through, you know what I mean? So cool, so, we show love to Ben, Payday, we leave. So, Duke and Flame get in their car, ride off, me and London get in our car and drive off. So now, London's hype. She's like, she can't wait, for the night of the party, the grand opening. So everybody's hype. Cool. Drop her off at work. And then, as, it was getting closer to the party, I hit up my nigga, Mac Truck. Mac Truck is from the West Coast, you know what I mean? Make sure y'all look up Mac Truck. Mac Truck is Crip, but he's not active, you know what I mean? He's now in the fitness world. And, sometimes when I go out to Cali, he holds me down. He do security for me. Shout out to Mac Truck. So I invited Mac Truck. I'm like, yo, Mac Truck's gonna be a big-ass party, told him about, Bent, he West Coast nights, West Coast night. I told him that, the theme, everybody gonna be dressing, on some West Coast shit, anything, right? He's like, alright, cool. He said he'd come down. So, around this time, you still got, of course, London and Peaches beefing. But now, Magnificent, is fucking with the quote-unquote ops in London's eyes, 'cause now Magnificent and Peaches are cool, So London's peeping that. She's like, alright, cool, Plus Peaches and Magnificent said they were going to go to the party too. Everybody said they were going. Somehow, Peaches and 88 start beefing online. And Magnificent Charming. Sin City's also, cool with Peaches and Magnificent. So London and, in 88, they became cool because, they have a common enemy. Plus, Debbie, that's 88's homegirl. So, somehow, some way, all six of them start beefing online. Rumor has it, someone says, 88 called, I think, CPS to Sin City's house, and, like, shit was just crazy, like, they were just beefing online, like, all six of them were just going at it. So then it got to the point to where they was like, alright, fuck it. It was like, since y'all going to the party, we gonna be there too. We gonna go and be there too. So, people egging it on in the comments. So that's when Sin City was like, yo, I'm flying to Dallas, and I'm gonna be at the party out, and, Sin's bitch is gonna call CPS now. I'm coming to the party, so everybody's like, oh shit. And Magnificent said she's going to the party. So 88 and Debbie, of course, they going. So London's already going. 'Cause I'm supposed to be going too. Alright, cool, but I ain't think nothing of it. I'm thinking, no, and that's female shit. 'Cause Bimp already told us niggas is getting searched at the door. 'Cause he heard what happened at the stripper door, and he said that shit ain't happening in his spot, Cool, so that's why I ain't think nothing of it. Alright, so my nigga Mac Truck touched down. Boom. So Mac Truck, he touches down. 'Cause it's almost, we coming up to the day of the event. So, of course, 88 in London and Debbie, they go out, get their hair and nails done, they hanging out and shit, prepping for the party and shit. So this is like a Thursday, my nigga, Mac Truck flies in. Sin City flies in. Magnificent flies in now. I think 88 in London ain't believe that Magnificent was, in Dallas until, a picture popped up with Magnificent and Rainbow, and I guess they ran into each other at a local bar or something. And that's when they was like, oh shit, she really is, and 'cause like the way they was beefing, it's kind of like, remember how the Chicago rappers back in the day, like every time they would diss each other, or kill each other, they would tweet about it, they would tweet each other. That's kind of like how, Peaches in London and Magnificent and Sin City and Debbie would do it. They would just beef back and forth on live, and one person would go live and the next person would go live. And, shit was just crazy. So anyway, so everybody just buzzing about this party, My little bro, Platinum, he said he was popping out. He knows Sin City, he knows Sin City like his big sis, she'd held him down, So, I knew it was going to be like a party I didn't want to miss. This was going to be probably like the biggest party of the year and shit. So now, it's coming to Friday. Now it's Friday. Bimp's party on a Saturday. So I'm like, yo, so me, it was a nice day that day, I know, early that day, London and 88, they went out to go, do the hair and nails thing or whatever. So me and Mac, we meet up. We like, fuck him. We ain't feel like going to the gym. We like, yo, it's a nice day out, today. Weather's nice. Let's go to the park and work out. Fuck it. And we could shoot some content from my nigga Mac Truck's channel, So cool. So we go to the park, set up the camera so we could do some content for Max, my nigga Mac Truck's channel. So we doing pull-ups, push-ups, dips, Plus watching, the ladies, that's jogging by in the spandex, some of the ladies, with the fat asses pushing strollers, it's a normal day. It's other niggas in the park too working out, but we ain't paying them no mind, everything's cool. It was a few niggas on the side smoking weed, but that's none of our business. You know what I mean? Plus, the park was close by to where, I hustle at, with Dimp and, for Farrago and shit, so I knew a lot of the local niggas, so everything seemed cool, you know what I mean? I was clean, I ain't had no weapons or nothing on me and shit, we chillin'. Next thing this van pull up, you know what I mean? This van pull up. Next thing you know, these cops, hop out, but they was undercover because they had, they badges out with bulletproof vests, black t-shirts, black pants, some of them had on jeans. And on a t-shirt, it said it was VCTF, Violent Crime Task Force. Yeah, VCTF, Violent Crime Task Force. So these niggas hop out, I ain't thinking nothing of it. So, Mac truck, my nigga Mac ain't thinking nothing of it. So it was this one black cop. He hops out, he started grabbing niggas. Some 3 other black cops, they started grabbing niggas. There was this one white cop that looked just like Randy Orton, had the same type of haircut, tattoos. They grabbing him. We like, yo, what the fuck? So, how the younger niggas out there like, what the fuck you grabbing me for? Don't touch me, get a supervisor, all that shit. So they come over to me and Mac. They was like, what's going on? I was like, nothing, we shooting, content. He was like, yeah, we're smoking weed. I'm like, I don't smoke weed. So, of course they smell of weed, so now they want to search niggas. So then, they load, the younger niggas, they like, nah, don't touch me, but they still, they searching them, grabbing them. And then, they found they was like, well, we smell weed, so they smell weed, so they checking, the bags and the hoodies and the t-shirts that was out there. So then, the Randy Orton looking cop, the one that looked like Randy on the white nigga, he starts flipping over garbage cans. Then he flipped over this one garbage can. It's a fucking gun there. He said, uh-oh. So then when I looked, he was like, gun. And so I'm like, fuck. And this, it's broad daytime, like shit. So that's when they, made everybody, line up. Start patting niggas up. So now, the one black cop, he's like, yo, who gun is this? Of course, nobody's claiming it. And then, of course, it ain't me and my nigga Max. So we like, no. He's like, well, we gotta take everybody in until, the fingerprints come back and, since nobody wanna claim it. Fuck. So now, they handcuff all of us, everybody that was in the park, all the niggas that was in the park, people on side videotaping with their cameras and shit. Asking the cop, what's your badge number, what's your badge, So, shit, so now we going down to the jail in Dallas, So, they take us down to Loose Sterrett. So, of course, they take me in, the interrogation room and shit. They asked me who gun is it. I'm like, yo, it ain't my gun. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I was just there with my boy. He from Cali. We just working out, doing some content. And, so he like, well, he said there's good news and bad news. He said the good news is if your fingerprints ain't on the gun, you're free to go home. He said the bad news is it's Friday and the fingerprints and you won't be able to see the judge till Monday. So, you're gonna be here for a while. Fuck, son of a bitch. So, they told Mac the same thing. Good thing though, when they lock us up, they kept us together, so cool. So now, mind you, it's been a few hours and shit since we got locked up, so, Mac called his family, let him know what the situation was. Alright, cool. He let him know he had to wait till Monday. I told him, don't worry, I got him on the lawyer. So I was next in line to get on the phone. I called London. London like, yo, what's up? Where you at? I'm like, yo, I got locked up. She's like, what for what? I told her, that me and Mac was in the park working out. Just motherfucking, cops hopped out on us undercover, paddle us down. They find a gun under a garbage can, locked everybody in the park up. So they saying I gotta wait for the fingerprints to come back but I can't see the judge till Monday, so I told London get in contact with Farrago so that way he can get the, a lawyer for me. Because Farrago got this white lawyer, white Jewish lawyer, on deck, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That do all our cases whenever somebody in the crew get in trouble. Farrago always provides us with a lawyer, you know what I mean? And OG always said, make sure you always got a white Jewish lawyer. He was like, don't show up in no courtroom with no Tyrone and shit, you lose every time, you know what I'm saying? So I told London get in contact with Farrago so that way he could have a lawyer on deck when we see the judge Monday. She like, Monday? I'm like, yeah. I was like, it's Friday, and they said the fingerprints probably won't be available till Monday. He said, but either way, we can't see the judge till Monday. She like, motherfucker. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm pissed I'm gonna miss the party. She started laughing. She said, well, shit, I'm still going. So I told her, I said I parked, my car. I told her, but my car was where I parked my car at. She said she was gonna pick it up, and she was like, to represent me, she was gonna drive my car to the party, you know what I mean? I got a Maserati or whatever, fly shit, I love Maseratis. I got a Maserati. So when she said she was gonna drive my car to the party, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, shit, I hope none of my side pieces run up on the car thinking it's me, and it's really wifey as London, you know what I'm saying? But I kept it to myself. So she said, don't worry, boo, she said she's gonna call Farrago, make sure the lawyer's on deck, and she gonna be there with the lawyer on Monday. And she gonna hold it down for me. At the party, she gonna just drive my car there and rep for me. I'm like, alright, cool. Get off the phone. Me and Mac, we chillin', you know what I mean? Like I said, they kept us together, which was cool. The food, all the niggas that got locked up in the park with us, they did. Everybody gotta wait. Cool, so, they got me and Mac in the cell. We chillin', a few hours go by. Next thing you know, the cell opens. CO comes in, and he's like, yo, you Tony? I'm like, yeah, what's up? He hands me a cell phone. He said Farrago sent me. So I'm like, oh, good looking. So now me and Mac, we got a cell phone in the cell, cause, Farrago, you know what I mean? He know people everywhere. So now the CEO gives me and, Mac a phone, so now we can make calls whenever we want. So this is how I was able to know everything that's going down. So like I said, Sin City touched down. She in the city. So now she out in Dallas, she's in town for the party and shit. So Sin City, Magnificent Peaches, they online, they talking shit how they gonna be at the party. And then, they wishing, bitches try it, Sin City talking her shit. Sin City like, yeah, bitches wanna call CPS. Trying to say a bitch broke. She was like, yeah, nah, I'ma style on you hoes, and I'ma come through spinning big bread, bitch talking shit. So now Debbie and motherfucking 88 get online. 88, talking about, yeah, bitches ain't gonna do shit, hoes ain't gonna do nothing. I dare bitch to touch me, we gonna be at the party there, so now everybody getting hyped for the party, you know what I'm saying? Cool. So, London, she's, she getting dressed for the party and shit. She got me on FaceTime, me and London talking, she's getting ready for the party and shit, she walking around, thong on, nothing else, ass jiggling all over the place, that's my baby, big ass, I'm like, damn, I'm mad that I can't go to the party, so London getting dressed, and shit, boom, now I'm gonna tell you everything that I know from what niggas told me, and for what I seen from the, camera footage, cell phone footage, from what London told me, and plus, like I said, now I got a cell phone. I can see shit, so now, London's FaceTiming me off and on throughout the night. Cool. So, the parties, is jumping, so motherfuckers pulling up one by one. So already, when niggas pull up, you already see Big Lack and the nigga Mile 1, they already parked up in the parking lot chilling. They got their cars parked up, red cups in their hand, music flowing and chilling. On the side, you was at a bunch of cars parked up, watching, motherfucking boys in the hood and shit, cause some people didn't want to go into where the party was at, they just wanted to pull up to the movie theater. But you had to be fucking 21 and over to enter into the parking lot, cause, it's drinking, so, motherfuckers is 21 and up, so motherfuckers is, chilling, So you see cars parked everywhere. When I I see cars parked everywhere. It's like bumper to bumper. So motherfuckers is parked outside, watching the movie and shit. It's like I said, Big Lack is chilling with Mal one, they talking. Next thing you know, the nigga Skull pull up with like 3 niggas in the car. He's in a 6'4" Impala. Shit bouncing up and down like it's West Coast, Shit bouncing up and down. He in the 6'4" Impala. Some niggas is tripping like, oh shit, what's Skull? So Skull pulling up, 6'4" Impala bouncing up and down. He drive past. Trigger man, he pull up. With a bunch of niggas, they all on Harleys, on motorcycles, they pulling up. Boom. So now, my nigga, my little bro Platinum, he pull up. All red Ferrari. Red seats, bumping his own music, cause he rapping shit, he pulling up. He got a nigga in the passenger seat, then he got a few of his, niggas from New Orleans that flew in, So my nigga, my nigga Platinum, red bandana, red shirt, khakis, represent. He pulls up, Platinum pulls up, boom. Nisa B and Skoka, they pull up in a slingshot, a pink and white slingshot. So Nisa B pulls up, Skoka pull up. Nisa B got on some Jordans, no laces, some baggy khakis sagging to where you can see the G-string lines on both sides, She got this Airbrush picture of Aaliyah and shit, And she got her hair done like Aaliyah with the hair over her eye shit. Nisa killed it. Skoka gets out. Skoka got on these Jordans, but they skates, So they like retro Jordans, but they skates. And she got on overalls. No, they like overalls, but they cut over some tight shorts and shit. So she get out. She's on roller skates. So, of course niggas trying to holler at Nisa because they see the G-string lines. And she got the stomach showing. So niggas is like, yo, trying to get at Nisa and shit. Niggas trying to get at Skoka because she's on roller skates with these 2 big ponytails. And a big lollipop in the hand on roller skates and thick dye showing. Some niggas like, yo, so shit getting lit. So now Queen and Isha pull up, they're in a BMW. Queen pull up, get out, short shorts on. Big ass fucking booties, niggas going crazy like, yo, she got the blonde hair. Again, looking like the girl from the Players Club and shit. Niggas is trying to holler, niggas like, yo. So now it's getting lit. So now, London pulls up. She got her hair braided like Janet Jackson in Poetic Justice. Got the white, head wrap like Janet had. White shirt. She dressed just like Janet did at the end of Poetic Justice with the white shirt, tight pants. She gets out. Ass fat. Boom. Niggas like, god damn. Niggas, trying to holler at my girl London. Cause, and she had the heels on, so the ass really was busting, so she got the tight pants on. Boom. So London gets out. 88 gets out. She got on she got red Converse, red and white Converse. Chuck Taylor's on. Short shorts, booty shorts. And an Airbrush t-shirt, a Mo 3. With a red bandana, cause she not a blood, but she wanted to represent, for Mo 3. Debbie get out, She got on, a Mo 3 t-shirt. And some khaki pants, So niggas is really dressing up like the West Coast. Now he's getting lit. So Duke pulls up, with like 3 niggas. Flame, is driving. Flame gets out, red bandana, all red on, flamed up, Duke got on a blue bandana around his face, blue khaki, Dickie suit, blue Chuck Taylors, and he had an Airbrush picture of Royal Lee in the back, fire. So Duke gets out, but Duke, he didn't want to go in the club because he wanted to, stay close to Flame because Flame had that thing on him. And like I said, they searching niggas at the door, so they decide to stay outside with the people outside. Alright, cool. So now, Peaches pull up. Peaches, Sin City, and Magnificent pull up. Magnificent gets out. She dressed like Miss Parker. She got the same shit on like Miss Parker had on, So niggas is trying to holler at, how niggas is when they see a light-skinned girl. Niggas is like, yo, trying to get that mad. She got the short shorts on. Titties pushed up, stomach out, So, she dressed like Miss Parker. Peaches get out, She dressed nice and on some West Coast shit. So, And Sin City get out Sin City on some more gangster shit. She got on a black Dickie suit. You know what I mean? Got on some black, sneakers, baseball cap, sunglasses. She dressed like the old school rapper, the female rapper boss from back in the day. Cool. So they get to the door. Now, mind you, London left her, London's license to carry. She left her gun in the car. Because she already know, because she was with me when them said, yo, they searching people at the door. So, London, 88, Debbie, they already go inside. Cool. Peaches, she got her gun on her, so when the security checked her, they like, yo, you can't. So she tried to show her credentials. They said, nah, it don't matter. You can't come in with the gun. So Peaches like, fuck. So Peaches had to go back to her car. They was like, you came. They was like, you drove it. They was like, yeah, go to your car, put that up, come back. So Peaches go, put the gun in the car. So now all three of them walk in. Cool. So now shit is lit. Like I said, motherfuckers is outside watching the movie. Niggas outside, networking, chilling. Cause you can hear the music on the outside. And also, the movie's playing, but in order to hear the movie, you gotta get a code and you gotta sit in your car and turn the radio on ahead. So, but the music on the outside, you can hear music on the inside, you can hear outside. So when they walk in, like I said, you see people playing pool, people bowling, big ass dance floor of people. Like I said, you got the pictures of the famous Crips on the wall, like Tookie Williams and Nipsey Hussle, Eazy-E, all that shit, right? Plus, I forgot to mention, fucking Bent already told us that he also talked to Black Sand, which is Nipsey's brother. So they had two marathon food burger trucks parked outside serving food and shit. London said she wanted to get a burger and shit, but the lines was just too long, you know what I mean? So anyway, everybody's inside. Now Jackie's already inside. If you go to Jackie's live, she's smoking hookah, where it's like a green light. She's like in the club with the green light smoking hookah. That was that Bent spot. So Jackie's already in the spot, smoking hookah with her peoples, chilling, vibing to the music. So Jackie's there. So, Skoke is rolling around on the roller skates, you know what I mean? London's walking through. So London 88 and Debbie, they go to VIP. So when, so you got Buddy Lee, he DJ, he playing the music. Buddy Lee playing the music. DJ Paul's on the mic. So when he seen London walk up the steps to go into the blue room, which is the VIP area, that's when DJ Paul was like, God damn, he was like, that girl got enough ass to feed Africa. Everybody started laughing at shit. Cause he was talking about London, cause London ass was like, boom, shit was crazy. So London 88 and Debbie go on to the VIP. Now what was crazy about the VIP, the blue room area, was how usually they bring the champagne out on ice and ice trays. They had the champagne and shit in coolers, like the coolers you have at the picnics and the barbecues. So shit was looking like the old school Death Row, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg videos. They had champagne in coolers, you know what I mean? So they had like a bunch of coolers all around with Don Julio, Hennessy, Cristal, Moet, filled with ice. So instead of ice trays, they had coolers and shit, you know what I mean? Like niggas was really on some West Coast shit, you know what I mean? Cool. So, so niggas is vibing, you know what I mean? Networking, doing what they doing shit. So DJ Paul's on the mic. He's shouting motherfuckers out. Of course, Peaches and London peep each other, but they ain't say nothing. Sin City and Mag peep Debbie, but they ain't say nothing. It's like, alright, whatever. So, London, they dancing and shit. They in their section. And, Mag and them, they dancing in their section. But then, I guess because Sin City knew somebody, because everybody knows Sin City, they was like, yo, you can go to VIP. So when they go to it's like, the way the VIP set up, it's like you go up these steps, but you can see everything. It's like out in the open. It's not like a private room, even though it's called the blue room, because the blue lights is there. So it's like, oh shit. So when they go up there, you got London 88 and Debbie sitting on one side. Then you got Magnificent Peaches and Sin City sitting on the other side. And then between them is like this big ass table. And like I said, these water coolers with champagne bottles, you know what I mean? And ice. And then there's other people also in the blue room area. So everything was cool. They not saying nothing to each other, they locked eyes a few times, but they not saying nothing to each other because they trying to keep it cool for Ben. Cool, so Buddy Lee's rocking. DJ Paul's on the mic. So now, all the lights in the club turn red. Then, like I said, it's this big-ass screen, on stage where the DJ is at. And on the big-ass screen, as soon as the lights turn red, a big-ass picture of Mo3 pop up with Mo3 with a red bandana on. People start going crazy, so now they start playing Mo3 songs back to back, back to back to back. And everybody's singing Mo3 songs like fucking Michael Jackson and Laura Richie when they were singing We Are the World. Everybody was singing Mo3 songs like that, so everybody's singing Mo3, Mo3. Next thing you know, the lights turn blue. Picture of Nipsey Hussle pop up, so now the Crips going crazy, so now they start playing Nipsey Hussle songs back to back to back to back going crazy. Then they put motherfucking picture of Young Dolph up there. They start playing Young Dolph back to back, boom, boom, boom. Then they put a picture of Takeoff, then they played the Migos song, but just Takeoff's part, so the party's lit. Cool, so now it's time, so at this point, nobody's seen Payday or Bent the whole night, you know what I mean? So we like 2 hours in. So now it's time to introduce Bent because this is the grand open. So now the music stopped. DJ Paul introduced Bent. So Bent pulls up. He drives on the stage. He's in a lowrider. He drives, like he literally drives a lowrider. You remember wrestling back in the day with Eddie Guerrero? When Eddie Guerrero used to drive the lowrider with China, and they did the same shit. So Bent drives on stage in a lowrider. Payday's in the passenger seat. Niggas going crazy. Everybody throwing up gang signs, Bloods, Crips. Everybody just throwing up their gang signs and shit and cheering, going crazy. Payday gets out. You know what I mean? Short, sexy and shit, high heels. She gets out, opens the door for Bent. Bent steps out, you know what I mean? All blue on. You know what I mean? Blue bandana wrapped around his head, one in his left hand. He throwing that shit up. Hey, all the Crips throwing shit up, you know what I mean? So boom. He gets on the mic, and he's shouting out all the Crips, he's shouting out all the Bloods. He was like, rep your set, everybody, Bloods, Crips, GDs, BDs, I don't give a fuck where you for, rep your shit. So everybody started going crazy, going crazy, going crazy. So he wanted to thank everybody for coming out. He was like, everybody just enjoy yourself, you know what I mean? It's all love. So that's when DJ Poor gets on the mic. They introduce Young Buck. So Young Buck comes out. That nigga Buddy Lee, he drops the song by Young Buck called Get Buck. So that's when Young Buck, he start telling niggas throw their sets up, put their hood up. So he performs the Get Buck song. Boom. Then he gets into the Let Me In song. So the whole time all this going on, Sin City's this ice grilling 88. Ice grilling. Cause she feels some kind of weight, you know what I mean? And Peaches, out the corner of her eyes, she's looking at London looking at her, but London ain't thinking, about it. When, London's dancing, shaking that big ass and shit. Peaches feeling some kind of way, you know what I mean? Cause her butt ain't big like London, so she's like, damn. But then, magnificent dancing, you know what I mean? And, niggas is trying to holler at all 6 of them, but they ain't trying to holler at no niggas, you know what I mean? London can't, talk to no niggas cause she with me. 88's trying to stay focused, so she can't really. Debbie's, she's on point since Cities ain't trying to talk to no niggas. Magnificent ain't trying to talk to no niggas. And, so it's like, mad niggas tried to come to VIP to talk to all 6 of them, but they just focused on each other. Cool, so that tension's going on, so Young Buck's still on stage, he's rocking. Then, he gets into the song, Shorty Wanna Ride With Me. He's doing the song, then he stops it. He's like, yo, who that right there? He points to 88, cause 88's twerking, shaking that ass. He said, yo, come up here. So that's when 88 gets on stage and she's twerking on Young Buck. He doing the song, Shorty Wanna Ride With Me. Boom, boom, boom. Cool, so, while 88's on stage, across London and Debbie cheering her on and shit. Jackie's over in the cut just smoking a hookah, not thinking and not paying it no mind. Jackie's like, whatever. Cool, so now, that song finished. Now the whole time this going on, Duke is outside. There's footage of this. You can look this up. Duke's outside. Duke is screaming at the top of his lungs, I'm a 7 nigga, I'm a 7 nigga. Long live Mo3, long live Roy Lee, I'm a 7 nigga, I'm a 7 nigga. Just kept screaming that shit, throwing up the 7, calling out, talking that Crip shit. So now, the nigga Lat says something. So now Duke It lacked arguing, man. One trying to calm down people, so now they arguing. Same time inside, this nigga Buck is on stage. He said, yo, let me bring my man out. So now Corrupt comes out. Nigga Buddy Lee dropped the song, Ain't No Fun If the Homies Can't Have None. He drops that shit. So Corrupt, he throwing up the Crip sign. He told everybody in the crowd sing that shit. He points the mic to the crowd. They singing Nate Dogg's part loud as hell. Everybody singing Nate Dogg's about having. So the same time, Duke and Lack, they arguing, with a little bit of pushing and shoving, but people are in between them. You know what I mean? So that shit is getting rowdy. Fucking security come, they break that up. They told Duke, you gotta leave. So Duke was like, what the fuck? They told Duke, you gotta leave, you gotta go, they gotta go. So they made Duke leave. Cause they said he was being too aggressive. So Duke said, fuck it. He was like, he called Lack, he was like, you pussy fan, you pussy fan, you pussy. So that's when, Flame and Duke and a few of the niggas they came with, they leave. So Big Lack, now one's still outside, chilling. So now, Corrupt, they did the song, Ain't No Funny, the homies can't have none. Then he gets into his verse on the Doggy Dog Worlds, shit. Then he shouts out Bimp, told Bimp congratulations, gave Buck some love, gave Buck the microphone back. So now, Buck, DJ Paul said, yo, do that shit that we got together, cause DJ Paul and Young Buck got a song together called Stick in the Club. So now Young Buck doing that. So the whole time, like I said, 88 and they high schooling each other. So Sin City whispers over to, cause I know somebody that was right there. Sin City whispered over to Magnificent. She was like, yo, I'm about to set it off in this bitch. So Magnificent was like, fuck it, I'm with you. So Magnificent kicked the hills off. London and them ain't peeped that though. So she kicked the hills off. And then, that's when Magnificent told Peaches like, yo, we about to get it in. And so, next thing you know, Young Buck, he performed the song Stomp. You know what I mean? If you remember the song Stomp, you remember this shit used to get crowds hype. So he dropped the song Stomp. Couple fights break out in the crowd, so he had to stop the song. Few niggas who was getting into fights, few Bloods and Crips getting in fight, they brought, the security rush in, they break that up. So he said, fuck it, start the record again. So Buddy Lee drops it again, Stomp. He performs the record. Another fight break out. You're like, what the fuck? So now, they had to stop this record like 3-4 times, my nigga. 3-4 times. Now, mind you, I'm locked up. I'm seeing shit. Like London has me on her phone, but the music's so loud I can't hear it, and I can't talk loud because I don't want the motherfuckers in jail to know I got a phone. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm hearing shit, but then I got this information from later on. So anyway, he drops the record again. So now, I guess Sin City like, fuck it. She says something to 88. Sin City says something to 88. She said, what? So Sin City reaches in the cooler and she throws a fucking Don Julio bottle. Crash. So that's when 88 grab a bottle. She throw one back. Crash. So now Debbie throws a bottle. Crash. Peaches, you throw a bottle. Crash. London throws a bottle. Crash. So now, at the Magnificent, so now you got all 6 of them throwing bottles at each other. You got Sin City, Magnificent, and Peaches on one side. London, 88, and Debbie on the other side. And they throwing champagne bottles at each other like snowballs and shit. So now Jackie's standing on the couch. Jackie's standing on the couch with her phone out like, oh shit. And Skoka's over there. Skoka's keep tripping because she got on, roller skates and shit. And so Nisa's over there. Nisa's smiling. And she got her phone out. So that's when Buck and all of them got on the mic. They like, whoa, 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 because all you hear is glass breaking. And they throwing bottles at each other. Next thing you know, Debbie runs up on Sin. Sin catches Debbie, bow, with a punch, boom. So that's when Debbie kind of slid. So Sin started catching her, clack, throwing punches. So then, that's when London runs up on Peaches. They start fighting, boom, boom, boom. So now London's on top of Peaches, punching Peaches. Peaches is holding on to London's braid. So Peaches is holding on to London's braid. 88 and Magnificent square up now. 88, remember she was training with a whole lot of wood, so she got her hands up in the boxing stance. And Magnificent got her hands up. So boom, they start throwing punches, fighting. They start grabbing. So hey, about like ooh. So it took security a minute to get up there because it's still fights breaking out all around. You got Bloods, Crips. Like I said, BDs, GDs, you got a lot of rival gangs in this motherfucker, even though everybody fuck with Bimp. A lot of niggas don't fuck with each other, so they fighting. Everybody's fighting. So it took them a while, so now Magnificent 88 fighting. They fighting and pulling each other hair, scratching. So London's keep punching. Peaches punching. She's holding London. Peaches holding on to London's hair. So the security jumps over. He gets in there. He's trying to break it out. He even caught a bottom to the head. So he catch a bottom to the head. He's bleeding. He fall out. As soon as he catch the bottom, everybody like, ooh. So he fall out. So now more security coming. They trying to break him up. So, so they broke up 88 Magnificent. Sin City was on top of Debbie catching him. So they pulled Sin City off. You know what I mean? Sin City like bitch, you know what I mean? Fucking up. So they pulled Sin City off. So so now the only people they trying to break up is London and fucking Peaches. But Peaches won't let go of London's braid and she just punching. So they finally get them apart. So they like motherfucking, so they the shit was crazy. So after that, that's when they said, yo, we gotta shut the party down. It's over. So they shut the party down. Mind you, it's more fights going down. More fights. So this nigga SD, Sal, the SD pulled up late. He mad that he missed the party. So he said, fuck it. Nobody was looking. He pulled out his gun. He shoots in the air. Pow. So now everybody scattered. So that definitely shut the party down. So now niggas call 911. Cops pull up. And they shut the party down. Crazy night, right? So now comes fucking Monday. You know what I mean? Me and Mac Truck, we go see the judge. You know what I mean? The forensic tell him that, Mac Truck's fingerprints wasn't on the gun. Case dismissed. So now I come out. I see London and the lawyer. I see London sitting, with the rest of the people. The lawyer right there. I stand next to the lawyer. It said that my fingerprints wasn't on it. It said stay out of trouble. Case dismissed. So so when I come out, I walk out with the lawyer. And London, she did, she, got on these tight sweatpants, big fat ass, so she gives me a hug. I grab that ass, tongue her down. And she was like, yo, I told her that, it's crazy. We got caught up in that shit. We was locked down, and she told me what happened at the party, and man, what a crazy night. And I'm still mad that I missed that party. Everybody I spoke to told me that was like the party of the year at that time. And, Bip had that spot for a minute. Mac Truck, he went home and shit, you know what I mean? And I went to Bimp's spot a few times after that, but wasn't nothing like that first party. And, eventually Bimp had to shut the spot down because the police kept fucking with him, you know what I mean? Fucking with him, with the liquor license and, the weed smoking. And, it was just like too many gang members coming in and out of there, and it was always some shit. So Bent, he held it down for probably like a year and a half, and then him and Payday just shut the spot down, and he went back to St. Louis. But definitely shout out to Bent, and man, crazy times, and it is what it is, you know what I mean?